Hey everyone, how you doing this morning? As mentioned in our daily financial news, we got two of our experts today. And first up, we've got Omar. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about in our two sessions this morning is the importance of taking care of you, the individual, right? I spend a lot of time with investors. I remember what it was like being a full-time employee, trying to build a real estate empire, and you just like to serve everyone else. And what I'm really sensing of is a danger, right? We've been through a tough 12 months. If you're new in the game, it's been a tough 12 months because not only are you having to deal with all
Well,
the stuff going on in the world, but no inventory, 200 offers or whatever it is. It's just tough. What I really want to remind you is, folks, you got to take time to take care of yourself, both mentally and physically. Because if you don't, I've seen people blow up. I've seen bad habits get worse, and it's not worthwhile. So I wanted to do this episode just to remind people that when you go on an airplane, one of the things they do is they say, "Hey, if the oxygen masks fall, put it on yourself first, and then take care of others." So, folks, you got to remember that it is so true for lots of our lives, and if you don't do it, you can get by with rushing through for days, weeks, maybe months, but man, I've seen it catch up to people. I've personally felt it here in the last 12 months. So what do you think?
you know what? You're spot on, Michael, because we try to be everything for everyone.
Mhm.
And that's because you're in a position of serving and giving your value to everyone. But at what cost?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a little different than myself. I go around crazy. I'm still producing, I'm still doing the business,
Right.
and trying to figure out exactly where my next flip's coming from, et cetera, et cetera. And it's so true in regards to like take care of you first, do get your exercise handled, get ready for what the day is going to bring. As a matter of fact, I don't want to say what the day is going to bring. Get ready for what you're going to bring to the day.
Yeah.
I should clarify those words. You can't do that unless you have your mindset right, you're mentally prepared and you're physically engaged as well. And it starts with you first because you can't help anyone unless you take care of you.
Yeah. And I just wanted to break that down a little bit because, I didn't appreciate this and really until the last year, right? Historically speaking, I've been okay, you know, whether it was working a crazy schedule or whatever, I'd find time to go to a gym. I'd get on the elliptical, I'd throw around some weights and drop and make all kinds of loud sounds, and I'd feel better. What I didn't know, or I appreciate now, is not only was that my body feeling better and getting movement, but that was my stress relief. I didn't equate that at the time. Now I'm
Right.
older, right? I'm almost 50. You can't do the same kinds of things you did when you were younger. The body just doesn't like it. You get all these aches and pains and all of these things. But for me this year, I realized that something I had to do is I had to start my morning routine different, right? I was allowing a historical pattern to continue when it wasn't serving me anymore. I really had to
Ooh.
start implementing a habit of reading 10 pages in a book in the morning, just so that I didn't just jump into the next thing, right? This daily show that I do every day at 7:30, it was, I've done it now for more than 2 years, but I would wake up, start the coffee, start reading, have my first cup, have my second cup, and boom, we're recording. I allowed that, to become the routine, but I wasn't taking care of myself, right? So now I get up, I want to decompress, right? I want to, even if it's just 5 pages and I'll read the other 5 pages later, I've got to do something else first, right? You've got to take care of your own headspace. Otherwise, it just catches up with you. And I just want people to realize, especially after the last year, what are you doing to decompress emotionally? Right? We're all, struggling or driving or doing all of these things. Not only is there a physical aspect, what caught me this year was the mental aspect. And that's why you saw just in the last 24 hours, I put out a video with a travel guy. We're going off to the Caribbean because I want to go, enjoy life a little bit after this last 12 months. So what do you think about that?
That's huge. Your routine in the morning, obviously it changes.
Yeah.
And we both get in this not even, I'm not gonna say rut, in this oh, we're very specific and our routine is what it is.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. But when you change it, it's funny how everything else changes in your day.
Yeah.
And I've been practicing this here literally this year, because this last 12 months have been challenging
Hmm.
because, there was no routine.
Right.
And granted, you try to make one, but it's like you're sitting at home. What's going on? You're not doing your normal.
Hmm.
This year, I started implementing something different. And ideally in the morning, just turning off the phone.
Yeah.
And, when like this morning, I worked out, I had a really good workout. I was to the verge of passing out, and which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And then I just sat there, crossed my legs, and I just put some music on and meditated a little bit.
Yeah.
And it might sound weird, but it kind of cleared my mind. Okay, let me just let me just decompress for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever the case is, and then say, okay, now let me go get showered, get ready. Let me attack my day now because I got a to-do list. But and it's evolving. It's not consistent because and maybe other people are super consistent at this. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not like this is exactly what I do every single day. No, because it changes. Your mental status changes. I mean, we all want to get mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually calm or free or whatever you want to call it. But that first step has to be that morning. And I applaud you for reading that 10 pages because that's from that 75 hard.
Yeah.
And that 10 pages does a lot mentally because you stop thinking about the shit you got to do and just focus on like, hey, let me change tune. Let me plug in, not to the matrix, but plug in for more knowledge coming in.
Yeah, for me, it really allowed me. Again, these are all new pages. These are books I've never read before, so it was nice. I still, coffee's first on all of that, but then I read something I don't know what I'm going to get, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's not. But just not, what it became after like the first 6 months is okay. This is what I'm doing. It sort of felt like I was rolling out of bed, jumping into a sports car, and just going. But I wasn't taking care of myself. So it just a subtle twist. I mean, some people, maybe it's at night, maybe it's at lunchtime. Everybody is different. But what I really want to suggest to folks is it doesn't have to be a long time. It could be as short as 5 minutes. It could be as, maybe 15 minutes, but take time 3, 4, 5 days a week for yourself. And really what I want you to hear is other people around you will sense it, right? One of the things that I go back now and I self-reflect a lot is I wasn't really being my best self, right? I was being more negative than I naturally am, all of these things. And it was affecting the relationship, both with Olivia and others. And I just didn't like where I was. So again, it's easy for people to say, go, do physical exercise. We kind of see that our body changes, but you can't see your mental makeup. Nobody else knows where your headspace is. Watch that, play with it, fix it. And if you can, go away from the negatives. There is so much negative stuff out there, especially on YouTube. Unplug from that stuff. Be positive, be realistic, right? There is some real challenges in the world, but the world's not going to end. We're not going to go back to whatever we were, thousands of years ago. We will get through this, but check yourself. Make sure you, the individual, is okay between the ears. It's important.
100%, Michael. And can I add to this? I was writing everything down here. Take time to see what you already have.
Yeah.
And I think in that positioning of realistic goals, what you want to accomplish, and reflect on what you are currently in and what you're currently obtaining, dude, that's huge, because that gratitude of being in that position or getting that investment property or having a conversation with a potential seller that you didn't have 6 months ago because you've been going through the coaching program here with Michael. I mean, think about that. Like, Put
Yeah.
yourself in that situation and like look back and say, do you really think others are in this situation?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And if they're not, that right there, and you know that answer, I don't have to tell you that, but imagine if you are in a different position of like, you know what, I have gratitude for what I'm in right now. I think that will probably change your mindset too of, hey, I'm not doing that bad.
Yeah.
And you know what? Tomorrow's
Omar, did we lose you? Ah, we may have lost Omar. All right, folks, we're going to cut this one off. I'm sorry for that. We will see if we can't get him back.